It was G.K. Chesterton who said, "I would maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder." These precisely are the sentiments that run through me as I come to this last day of my stay here. I am full of gratitude and thanks for the love you have all shown towards our mission. I will give here a summary of our mission. There are 3 priests who run the mission in Nigeria: myself, Father Thomas Ojeka, and Father John Okerulo. And there are in all 14 different places where we administer the sacraments. Of these, 2 so far are outside of the country, one of them being a potential mission place. We also have a seminary which has grown from being a house of study to a full-blown seminary. And there are currently 2 priests, myself and Father Okerulo, who serve as professors. Presently, there are 8 students in the seminary, but this will change in September when we receive at least 5 more candidates, of which 2 will be from other African countries. 2 of our seminarians, Benjamin and Jonathan, will be due for ordination to the priesthood next year. And so you can imagine that the next few months will be occupied with administering various minor orders, as well as the 2 major orders. We also recently, in February, began a school for our children, modeled after the school here at St. Gertrude. We see the urgent need to save our children as best as we can from the corrupting influence of modern society. It is still in its early stages, but we are determined to keep it going. I have sought during my stay here practical help and advice from the school here, and I have also been assured of their continued support in this regard. And presently, this school is under the charge of Father Thomas Ojeka. The 3 priests in Nigeria also spend their time traveling to the various chapels according to a timetable. And you can therefore see how grateful we are that you have supported us so constantly through the years. I am, of course, aware that this is all the result of the mercy of God and the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. But you made yourselves willing instruments of God's mercy in our mission. Our gratitude also goes beyond to the first time we reached out to Bishop Dolan, who took up the task immediately of looking after us as far back as 2006. I must also extend my gratitude to the seminary, the Most Holy Trinity Seminary, for accepting myself and the other Nigerians at the time, and for training and giving us the discipline which have been so useful to us in our apostolate. To the clergy at St. Gertrude the Great, I owe my special gratitude for making this place like a second home for me. May the good Lord reward you all for all for your kindness. Dear faithful, it has become clear in the course of our apostolate that it is only the divinely revealed truths of the Catholic faith that can keep the world from total darkness. Indeed, if there is any light in the world today, it is the light of the faith. The purity of our doctrine, the unchanging principles originating in God Himself, must be used to bring some sanity into the world. And I have come to observe in the course of our apostolate that if one consistently applies these truths, one is able, God's grace assisting, to provide some respite, even in the most difficult cases. We live in a world where the standards are constantly changing. Man is putting away the divine law and replacing it with a multitude of laws. As a result, he becomes more and more miserable and blind. I have seen the importance of applying church teachings to practical moral problems. And this is the reason, on the one hand, that we are grateful for the training that we received for the priesthood, and on the other hand, why I see the need to maintain those principles. It is as bad back home in Nigeria as it is here in terms of the corruption of the society. It is only the law of God, the natural law, the divine law, positive law, the moral teachings of the Catholic Church that can save or at least keep things from getting worse. I see always the connection between the doctrine and the practice in the course of our apostolates. The excellence of the teaching is seen in the change which takes place in the lives of the faithful. And on the other hand, we know our place and do not presume that what we see is anything less than the work of God, and that we are mere instruments or unfruitful servants. And when we see the misery and the resisting and the seeming when we see the misery and the seeming resistance to God's grace, we know by doctrine as well that we are not to despair, that all things are subject to God, that in His time, according to His will, it will be done in the precise way He has ordained. And finally, I hope that if you all persevere in the work that you have been called to do, even if the fruits of your labor does not become apparent here in this world, you will be shown the beautiful result of your charity, your love of God, your patience, and the work that has been done in you by God's grace. And it is my prayer that as you persevere in this work of God, that God Himself continue to be your reward, even unto the end of your lives. God bless you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.